I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me for Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by The Human Being in Newport on 6th Street and on Highway 101 at the north end of Newport. And we are here at the 4-H office, at the OSU office here in Newport. And we are revving up for fair, which is coming up this weekend. Well, on Thursday through Sunday. And we're so excited. I have with me Todd Williver. Hi, Todd.
Good to be here, Kiera. Thanks for stopping in.
And Steve, thank you for coming in and sharing with us today. They've both been working very hard all year long, and I can personally attest, I know what work goes into this. So let's hear a little bit about Todd. First, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been working on.
Okay, Todd Williver. I'm the 4-H agent here in Lincoln County. I've been here, I think this is my 8th year now. Feels like I came here just the other day, but 8 years. I was a 4-H agent for the university in Deschutes County prior to that. When I came here, this program was small and struggling, and we've done a couple of unique things to build the program, and one of those is take over management of the county fair. We obviously in the 4-H program, the county fair is huge for my 4-H members, and when the fair was struggling, I pitched to the fair board, why don't you let us do it? And the response was, what does OSU know about managing a fair? and I had to think pretty quick, and I said, well, let me put it this way. 4-H has been involved with fairs for 102 years. We have 4-H groups in every county of every state of the nation. We probably know quite a bit about fairs. Turns out we didn't, but we do now. We do now. And Kiera, we started by saying this fair belongs to the community. We're gonna give it back to the community. We're gonna make it a free fair. We're gonna showcase the local things that are good about Lincoln County, and that's what we've tried to do. And we're 5 years into this project now, and it just keeps getting better and better every year. And we're proud of what we've done, and just enjoy giving a really fun community event to the citizens of Lincoln County.
And also joining us is Steve.
Hello.
Steve, tell us a little bit about you and what you're doing with the fair.
Wow, what I'm doing with the fair. I started out playing music with the fair. I've got a local band. And then the former sound provider for the fair decided not to be anymore. And Todd said, hey, how would you like to be the sound provider for the fair? Which I had enough equipment to do a small gig and made some investments, and now I'm the sound provider for the fair. I run a small sound production company, Prozac Audio. And that started 3 years ago. This will be my 3rd year. And this year, Todd kind of said, hey, how would you like to be the music superintendent and schedule all the bands and do all of that stuff and everything? And I said yes.
Yay.
So many months and many hours of hair pulling, the little hair I have. We have our lineup for the fair this year, and really happy about it. We added a 4th day, so we're running 22 bands over the 4 days. That's
fantastic. And give us a little tease of what folks can expect, starting with 4th of July.
Well, starting with the 4th of July, we're opening the fair this year. Bruce Moore, he's one of my musical partners. Great acoustic guitar player, flat picker. He opened the fair last year for us, and I decided to do it again with him. It gives us a good chance to sound check, do stuff, and he's a great entertainer as well. Thursday, we've got Bruce. We've got 45th Parallel, which is a local band. Donnie McFarlane, if any of you know him, you may know him as Donnie Atkinson. Also, he'll be doing a solo set. T-Ray and the Shades, a group that's a little bit newer to the community. And then on Thursday night, we have Hang 'em High, which is a country band we brought in.
Oh, fun.
Well, we're doing the rodeo this year. The rodeo's back. So we're trying to steer the music, in a direction that'll hopefully...
Steer the music that way?
It'll help match a lot of our crowd, but a lot of good local entertainment also, because it is about Lincoln County.
That's
at
great.
The end of the day.
And then the rest of the weekend?
The rest of the week, Thunder and Lightness is back. That's the local drum. That's the local drum circle run by Chandler Davis. We have a new addition this year. We will be doing the Bayhaven Inn down on the Bayfront is one of our big sponsors. Miss Linda Luton, the owner down there. They have been sponsoring a karaoke contest all month, and their weekly winners will be appearing on the main stage. So a shot for their 15 minutes of fame on Friday afternoon. We have Undertow coming in, which is kind of a mix of reggae and classic rock. Rodney Turner's band, some of you guys know them. Left Edge Jazz is coming in this year for the first year, so we're going to have a little different feel there. And my band, Bucket List, I decided after 5 years that, by golly, it was time to headline. So, by the way, hey Todd, my band's headlining. No, just kidding.
So what kind of music do you play?
Well, my band, normally we're a classic rock band. We do a little bit of everything, but we're going to do it a little more towards the southern rock side of things, because we're going to, like I said, when that rodeo gets done, we're going to still be playing. So it's going to be, country rock and southern rock on Friday night.
That's going to be fun.
Little Skinner.
With us, yeah. Some Skinner, some Marshall Tucker, ZZ Top,
We're liking
Yeah,
the
it's
sound
gonna
of that.
I think it'll go over well.
Well, fantastic. And
Yeah.
Steve, thank you so much. I know it's a lot of work, but it's very much appreciated, and it's great that people like you step up and help out in bringing such a great fair to our community. So, Todd, tell us about the rest of what folks can expect from the fair. We've already kind of teased there's going to be a podium.
Yeah. So 4 days. That's new this year. The fact that we're going to extend into 4th of July. The rationale behind that was that a lot of our vendors had other gigs or jobs that they would be doing on the 4th of July, which would not normally be our opening day. But if they did their event in, say, Independence, Oregon on the 4th, it would be really hard for them to close that down at midnight, get here and get set up in time for the 5th, which would be our normal opening. So to mitigate that problem, I just extended the fair an extra day, and that way they can come here and stay here for the whole 4-day shot, rather than having to pick one or the other and not be able to do both. So we're a 4-day fair. As Steve mentioned, we've got almost 40 hours of music, live music, in that 4-day period, which is exceptional. It's going to be a great party out on the lawn. All of the things you expect in a country fair. The main exhibit hall has been full for a month. We don't have an empty space. We can still put some tents outside, but we've got nothing left inside at all.
Stay away from Wind Alley.
Yeah, exactly. Bring your own bucket to hold your tent down. Right?
That's right.
But we're just completely booked inside. Lots of outside vendors. Yo Ho Ho Bounce, a local company, is going to be back to do bouncy houses for the kids.
Excellent.
We've got the stunt jump back again, and if you didn't see that last year, it is it's a series of platforms that come on a big trailer, starting at 10 feet, graduating to 20 feet, and ultimately 30 feet, into a great big inflatable airbag, just like a stunt person would jump off of in a movie set. And you have to go through the progression. They won't just let you walk to the top and jump off. And I'll tell you, I did it last year, and the progression is a good thing. It is 30 feet is a lot. I'm a rock climber. I know what height is, but there's a difference between climbing and jumping and
Falling.
The object of rock climbing is just to go up, not to come down.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, for anybody that didn't take advantage of that last year, it's really an amazing
My
attraction.
son did that. He loves all of that adventure stuff, and he had an absolute blast. And my grandkids had so much fun at the bouncy house. Yo Ho Ho Bounce is amazing.
Oh, they do great, yeah.
They do great things, and the kids had just an absolute blast. And that helped out parents too.
It does, and again, that's what we want. We put the bouncy houses right next to the music venue, so that parents can be watching their kids play at the bouncy houses and be over there enjoying the music and enjoying the sunshine and just having a great time.
Or in my case, they bring grandma. Watch
There
the
you go,
kids,
watch
we're
it.
gonna go listen to music. Okay.
Food vendors.
Oh, yes,
I
food.
think Heather told me we've got 10, which is just about capacity. We have squeezed in a few more than that on occasion, but we don't really have space for them. So when we've had 10 or 11 or 12, we're making them fit in, and oftentimes it's not a good space. So 10 is a perfect number of food vendors. We're going to have all the accoutrements that you need of normal fair food.
So about elephant ears.
Yeah,
and
we've got shaved
curly
ice.
fries.
We've got it all. Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be a big attraction. Another change for this year is that for the first time ever, we're going to be a dog-friendly event.
Yay!
What do
Now
you
I've
think
seen
of
dogs before.
Yeah, and
but
so here's the deal. The management of dogs is always difficult. The 4-H kids, the 4-H exhibit barn with all of their livestock animals really have trouble with the dogs because the dogs don't understand the animals. The dogs, make
the
the animals
animals in
nervous.
the barn. Yeah. Doesn't-
So what we've said this year is that and frankly, I just got tired of policing the dogs. People want to bring them. 99% of the dogs are good dogs. So what I've said is that we are a dog-friendly fair this year. If your dog is friendly, we don't mind them being there.
Well behaved.
Yep.
Pick up
Exactly.
after them.
Pick up after your dog.
please.
If your dog is not friendly, I'm not going to be either. So come
That's
with.
fair.
That's right. That is fair. Exactly. So come with your dog. As long as your dog is well behaved and you pick up after it, we want to see people enjoying that weekend.
Well-behaved owners.
Yes.
That's important too. Absolutely. And pick up after your owner.
Pick up after
There you go. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a big change for us and a big step. And it's I hope it's going to add to the event. I hope it's going to continue that sort of family-friendly environment that we
You know,
have.
Todd, I'm so excited to hear you say that because the purpose of the fair is not only to serve locals,
Yeah.
but also folks that are coming in to enjoy 4th of July with us here on the coast. And a lot of folks do bring their pets.
Yeah.
And let's face it, a lot of hotels are like, you can't leave them in the room. And then it makes it so that you're either leaving your dog in a hot car or you can't stay for very long and enjoy things like, I don't know, a little rodeo, because you have your pet. So I'm super happy.
Yeah.
I take my dog with me everywhere I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I love hearing about events and places and restaurants and things that are pet friendly.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
great.
We will be, and it'll be sort of a grand experiment, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it'll work out just fine. The largest new thing, and you're right, we did give a little teaser of this already. Can we get that in the frame there? We've got a rodeo. For the first time in a decade, we have managed to put together a fully sanctioned NPRA rodeo. So we are a pro rodeo stop on the Northwest Pro Rodeo Circuit. That only came about because Vancouver, who had this weekend previously, lost their lease on the fairgrounds, on the rodeo arena.
How sad.
Yeah, and that so in March we found out that there was a hole in the schedule that we could fill, and we scrambled. I put together a great committee.
You did.
I
tried to be part of the committee.
Yeah, sort of ad hoc.
I'm a
but,
supporter.
Yeah, that's right. And anyway, the committee has pulled out all the stops. We had 27 different sponsorship levels that we needed to get sold to be able to do. And within 30 days, we sold 26 of them.
Wow.
So we knew immediately that we were going to do it. Unfortunately, the one that we hadn't sold yet was the title sponsor. So it was a little tenuous, thinking, boy, can we really do a rodeo without a title sponsor? But at that point, there was no turning back. We had sold all the shoot sponsors, all the gold level sponsorship, all the silvers. We had so many people that were just saying, you bet we want in. That we, even if we didn't have a title sponsor, we were going to do it. At the 11th hour, we went to Toyota, and we said, guys, we need this. And they said, well, we were wondering when you were going to ask.
That's always the case, isn't it?
Yeah, and we put together a deal. Toyota of Newport is the title sponsor not only for the rodeo but for the fair. and we're delighted to have them back for a second year. They're going to bring a huge car show down to the
I was just
fairgrounds,
gonna
even
say,
larger
they're
than it
gonna be
was.
able to bring some rigs down so people
Yeah.
can see. That's
And,
great.
and I think I heard that K-Shell is going to do a live remote from the fairgrounds, from the show, so
Great.
that'll be exciting as well. Yeah, so we're pleased to have Toyota, all of the other sponsors that made it possible. We've got them on the posters. You'll see the posters around town. It's going to be a huge event. To illustrate how huge, here's a little anecdotal story. You ready for this?
We are.
I had Lori, the secretary from NPRA, call me on Wednesday, and she said, Todd, I need you to run another Slack event. And for people that don't know, Slack is just a term for overflow in the rodeo world. And the only reason you run Slack is to allow more cowboys and cowgirls to participate in your rodeo. So what happens when there are a lot of rodeos going on, and this weekend in the cowboy world is called Cowboy Christmas. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
There's the Moala Buckaroo, the St. Paul Pro Rodeo, the Eugene Pro Rodeo, Yoncalla, Vail, Lapine Frontier Days, and our rodeo, all going on just in our state.
Wow.
And they're
All the same,
all-
different weeks?
No, all on the same weekend. All on the same
my
4th of July weekend. So these cowboys will hit 4 or 5 of those rodeos in the space of 3 days. So if they didn't have Slack, if they didn't have overflow time, we'd be limited to only our show schedule at 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Friday and Saturday night. But with Slack, they can come in and do their tie-down roping or their steer wrestling or their barrel racing, and their time will count even if they're not here to do it during the show. The caveat is they have to fill, before the rodeo secretary at NPRA starts filling the rodeo schedule or the Slack schedule, she has to fill the rodeo schedule. So when they started asking us for an additional Slack day, that means that not only did both Friday and Saturday were they nearly full, but the Slack that we had already built in on Saturday morning was already full, and they needed more. I found out today that we have almost 50 barrel racers coming.
Wow.
The girls are going to be tearing it up. We are, at this point,
And for those who don't know, can
yeah.
you explain? I mean, I think I've seen it once or twice, but and it was pretty exciting to watch. Can you explain what barrel racing
yeah,
is?
so it's the traditional ladies rodeo sport. There are 3 barrels placed out in the arena, and a woman on a horse that goes 0 to 60 in about 1.6 seconds, and these girls absolutely get after it. It's a timed event. Usually the gal starts side passing her horse, and when it's time to go, that horse spins on a dime and is off like a shot around the first barrel. Goes from the first barrel to the second barrel, goes on to the third barrel, and then back across the finish line. And these girls corner like they're on rails.
Wow.
I mean, they are just really hauling the mail. So it's a great event, and we're going to have about 50 girls in town doing that.
Now, are you bull riding?
Yeah, so we're going to have we've got bull riding. So being a fully sanctioned event, we've got to have all 7 rodeo categories. So we've got bull riding, we've got saddle bronc, we've got bareback, we've got team roping, tie-down roping, barrel racing.
Steer wrestling.
Exactly. yeah.
He was looking for it.
Cow tying up things.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
we've got them all. So the schedule on Friday and Saturday will be exactly the same. It'll be different cowboys each night, but the same schedule with all 7 of those events. And then during the Slack events, all of the timed events, so the barrel racing, the team roping, those sorts of things, those will all be run during Slack. We don't do the rough stock, the bull riding, the saddle bronc, or the bareback during Slack. But all the other events will happen during Slack. Lori told me that we are the most full rough stock event of that weekend.
That's great.
So we're the biggest NPRA rodeo for rough stock.
Who doesn't want to come to the coast?
Exactly, exactly. That's what we're finding out. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really good event. Tickets are available on ticketleap.com.
Okay.
You can buy them online, or you can go to JC Market, as we've always done. They've sold tickets for us for years and years and years.
In Newport and Toledo?
Only in Newport.
Only
yeah,
in Newport.
Only in
Wanted
Newport.
to clarify.
Yeah, and then also new this year, Josh Hector at Barge Inn, who's on the committee, is selling rodeo tickets at the Barge as well. So you can get tickets all over the place, and they're going fast. Limited seating. We've only got about 1,500 seats.
Oh,
so yeah.
better
So
get your tickets
buy-
like now.
buy them now. Exactly. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So we've got food,
Yeah.
we've got great music entertainment, we've got stuff for the kids. How is 4-H involved?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
oh
there's
yeah.
that.
That's my other job. Okay. So my other half. Yeah. So as the 4-H program coordinator, I mentioned earlier the reason that I took on management of the fair is that 4-H is heavily vested in the fair. These kids, about 100 of them from across the county, in our county, do their 4-H project every single year, specifically to exhibit at the fair. So we'll have kids with a photography project, or a leather crafting project, or a quilting or sewing project, or an animal science project. We've got kids that are raising rabbits, and kids that are raising lambs, and kids that are raising steers, all with the intent of showing those animals, getting a blue ribbon so that they can go off to the state fair Labor Day weekend. We also have the market auction. So many of these animal science projects are market projects where those animals get sold on Saturday night to anybody that wants to purchase them, and would go off to slaughter. So you can put a half beef in your freezer if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
So you'll have some of the animals on display. Right?
Yeah. All the 4-H kids will have their projects in the livestock barn. It'll be full with 4-H animals. All of the 4-H youth that are doing static projects will be in the Harney building. The open class is huge. We have open class is not 4-H; it's the rest of the public. So if you have an extraordinary jam preserve, whatever that is, you could enter it in the fair, right?
And what about like pies? Are you
Yeah,
doing the
absolutely.
pies? And this is tradition for the county.
You bet. Baked goods, flower arrangements, photography, needlepoint, cucumbers.
Well, that's kind of how fair got going, was
Yeah, exactly.
to have an opportunity to get together with all your friends and neighbors and kind of showcase what you have to offer. And that's great. Now I have to share a little story because I was once on the fair board a very long time ago, around our 100th anniversary for the fair. And I remember one of the things we used to do was a watermelon seed spitting contest.
Sure.
Well, now they make watermelons that are seedless. And almost every watermelon is seedless. And I remember we had this event lined up, and all of a sudden we're going, we can't find any watermelons with seeds.
That's pretty funny.
And I don't remember I think we did some other kind of spitting
contest. That's
Yeah,
good.
and a watermelon eating contest. We did the pie eating contest. That was really fun. You know, when you see those, it looks like, oh, that's really easy. You just stick your face in there and you just start eating. But there's this thing called breathing while you're trying to eat.
The edges are always the hardest.
So yeah, it's not as easy as it looks, but it's always lots of fun.
As you talk about food, two other really good food events that we're doing. The senior barbecue, of course, is on Friday, and that's been a tradition forever. And then this year we're doing a Latino celebration. The Latino community is putting together a fiesta that for everyone. You don't have to be Latin to enjoy it. They're going to have Latin music, Latin dance, piñatas for the kids, all sorts of games. It's going to be a really fun event. Yeah, midday on Saturday, right at the main tent, right in Steve's little wheelhouse there. It's going to be a great event and new to the lineup this year. We've never done it before, and we're excited to have them.
Great.
involved.
And again, what fair is all about. It's all about family. It's all about community and coming together and having fun. Steve, anything else? Anything else that you want to add?
No, I just, real quick, my sponsors, TLC Federal Credit Union, Bay Haven Inn, Jambo Worldcraft, the Tap House at Night Creek, and Red Lotus Music. We couldn't do this. We could, but it would be a lot harder. We couldn't do
We
it
couldn't
without
do
them.
it without you.
Because if you look on the poster, the music festival is part of the fair, so it's free. There's no charge to come in.
Oh, that's a
Bring your
very
blanket
good
out,
point.
throw it down on the grass.
Stay there all weekend.
Stay there all weekend.
We don't mind.
We
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah.
we
There
won't
you
mind.
go. Now, can you watch the fireworks Thursday? Can you see them?
We don't
from the
know.
fairgrounds? I
We-
guess we'll find out.
Well, so here's what I can tell you. The fair closes at 9 o'clock on purpose. Because we want people to still be able to go down to the bayfront
Oh,
and
okay.
watch them from the bayfront. Now, that said, I am curious to know if we can see them from the fairgrounds or not. So I've asked everybody, including people that live up there, and they all give me the same answer. We don't know, we go down to the bayfront.
I've said, due to an issue with the barge that they usually use in the bay, they have had to shift the shooting of the fireworks up to the international dock. So
Thank
they will
you
not be,
to the Port of Newport.
they will not be shooting off from the middle of the bay this year.
So that might be harder to see.
So those fireworks are gonna shift east up the bay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's,
So we may not even have a
we may
big test
not
tomorrow.
have any line of sight.
My thinking is if for the next several years, the 4th will fall during the fair. We're always 4th of July weekend, and we're not gonna change that. But
I'm
the-
so glad we found a date.
Yes, absolutely. But I envision, if indeed we can see the fireworks from the fairgrounds, that we could have a music lineup going with some patriotic live music, and fireworks going off to the south of the fairgrounds as we're all sitting there on the lawn enjoying it.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I don't know if it's possible, but it'd be an
We'll
awful
find
lot of
out.
fun.
You
That's
know?
right.
Trial and error.
we'll-
We'll see. We'll see this this coming weekend.
Yeah.
So I want to wish everyone a very happy 4th of July. Come to the fair. Come one day. Come every day. It's free to get in and so much fun. Some fantastic music. Some great entertainment. Get your tickets now for the rodeo. Don't be a last minute, oh, I'll just get it when I get there, and then you're stuck and you can't get in. Get those tickets early and come and support your fair and support the wonderful businesses that support your Lincoln County Fair.
Let me tell you just a little bit about those businesses. Can we go just a little
We
long
can.
here? So I mentioned there were 27 sponsorship levels for the rodeo, and that we sold 26 of them just immediately. Those are all our local businesses. They're all people that came to us and said, we're all in, let's make this happen. So businesses that we had before, we've got some charter businesses that have been with the fair since the beginning. Starker Forest, Feed Corral, JC Market, FlexFit Chiropractic, Toledo Public Auction. Many of those we know and we've always had. This year, stepping up, we've got Thompson Sanitary, Newport Brewing, Arrow Heating, Western Cascade Industries, all as gold level sponsors for the rodeo. They all jumped in and said, we'll be your first jump at this, and we got them in quick. Shoot sponsors. These will be banners on the front of every one of the bull shoots. We've got FW Western Breeze. We've got Coastal Farm and Ranch, Starker Forest. I mentioned Feed Corral. I mentioned Newport Volunteer Firefighters, and Clearwater. Are all of our shoot sponsors. So those sponsors will be plastered all over the arena there. And then just going down the list, we've got Newport Electric, Lord Brixton. If you haven't been to Lord Brixton's in Depot Bay or Lincoln Beach, I don't know what their address is, but
North of Depot Bay.
south of Lincoln
yeah,
Beach.
south of Lincoln Beach. Yeah, right there.
But what a wonderful place to have a lunch or have dinner. They jumped in. JC Market, we mentioned. Barge In, Josh Hector, one of my rodeo superintendents or rodeo committee members, owner of Barge In. They do a great job. Doll Disposal, Poolside Jams. Oscars is in. We got Super Oscar in. FlexFit, we mentioned. Above Board Electric, Oregon Coast Bank. Hoff and Bridle Logging, and Team Employment Services, all coming forward to make the rodeo possible.
That's
so
great.
again, we just couldn't absolutely, without the title sponsor and without
Thank you,
those
Julia.
folks, we couldn't do it. Yeah, and a couple other just ones that have been with us from the beginning. Samaritan, Friday is their Samaritan barbecue, and they do that all day long. It's a great event for them. Chinook Winds, of course, really helps us out with in-kind donations. News Times will print that inserted fair guide into the paper and give us copies to hand out. And then Bigfoot.
And we're a sponsor too.
That's right. Absolutely you are.
WNE.com.
Perfect.
So yes, we thank the sponsors, and we encourage you to patronize those businesses. And when you go there, when you go to the bargain, when you go pick out your car at Toyota, or you see them at the fair, tell them thank you. They really enjoy hearing that. You mentioned Chinook Winds. They're amazing. They help out with lots of really great events and activities throughout all of Lincoln County, and we very much appreciate their support and help, and all those wonderful sponsors. So, Todd, anything else you want to add as we're wrapping up?
We've covered it all. Thank you so much for coming and chatting with us. This is good stuff.
It's been fun. It always is. Steve?
Pause for editing. Did we mention beer garden?
We didn't.
Okay.
Why don't you mention the beer garden?
Well, I'm going to let Todd mention beer garden because that's more. It's in my area over in the music venue.
Good
but
work.
Todd knows a little bit more
Let's
about.
let the 4-H guy talk about beer.
Oh, okay. Basically, we have a beer garden that is within the music venue. It's a family-friendly area, so it's not restricted to 21 and over. Although there is a small section there, I think.
You just can't be at the sales counter,
Right.
as a child. But other than that, underneath the tents in the whole area, it's family friendly. So you can come
So you
have
get your
a-
beer and come sit down right in front of the stage if you want. And that the Eagles Club.
Local Eagles 2817 is the provider for that, and they do a great job. They also vend the beverages for the rodeo as well. So our hats off to them. We couldn't do it without them.
So you can have a beer with your rodeo, and you can have a beer with your music.
There you go.
Or you can have a beer with your friends.
Yes.
There you go. I don't have any friends.
Just don't have a beer and drive.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Steve and Todd. Again, rodeo and the fair this coming weekend, July 4th through the 7th. All kinds of fun at the Lincoln County Commons, home of the Lincoln County Fair.
And rodeo.
And rodeo.
Right?
Yes.
Exciting.
And right there in Newport. You have a website if folks want some more information?
We do, thelincolncountyfair.com. You can get your registration packet for any open class exhibit that you want to put into the fair, thelincolncountyfair.com, as well as see the entire schedule. All of the stuff we've been talking about is posted right there.
Perfect. And thanks so much for joining us for Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by The Human Being on 6th Street and Highway 101 in Newport, and also on Highway 101 at the north end of Lincoln City.